Hi, I'm back. I'm Jill with Copycat Crafts by Jill with another on the smaller side project. I feel that instead of running a project that requires to do a lot of parts or is an hour or so long, it's probably just easier to put together a few smaller projects and have shorter videos that are easier to rewatch if you need to, if you're going to follow along. So that's what we're going to do. So I have planned a couple smaller projects for the next couple videos, and I hope you enjoy the smaller projects better, or at least, let me know. Let me know. Otherwise, I'm just sort of flailing around and not just guessing. So you just let me know. Anyway, today's project will be a little. It's kind of a pocket or tablet. It depends how you want to put it together. For this one, it is two pockets, one in the back. This will get glued down in a journal, on a journal page, or in a folio. If you want to keep it as its own little project, you can just put some decorative paper on the back, because either way you have to put the top or the bottom. The bottom one is easy enough to hide, but the top one you just can't hide. It would be inside or it's outside. If you don't want to see it, put it to the outside and put pretty paper over it. But this is a pocket in the back, and it's a large pocket. And then in the front, which you can use as another pocket, but it's really set when you close it. This latches the pocket keeps the flap closed, which I've done probably for the past couple years. I have lots of projects where I use a tag in a pocket to hold something closed. The other way is for a tablet. Again, this one, I have the measurements on it, so because this was kind of my prototype for this one. When you take the tag out and you open it, here's the pocket that the tag was in, which you can keep something pretty in there. You can. Then this part opens. Instead of it being a pocket, this part opens. And we have a tablet here, or a writing, or whatever. Again, because I like to make anything I put writing or, rip off papers, I like to make them removable so you can refill it. And that is what I did here. If you open it, all you do is take off the little brads, open the brads, I should say, pull the brads out, and all the papers come out. They'll stay together because I have them stapled with the little Tim Holtz tiny stapler. And then you can fill it with whatever paper you want and just put the brads back in. I just like doing that. So this is the one with the tablet, and it holds shut with the tag. This is the one we're making today, because really the only difference with this one is you make these two exactly the same. It's just instead of making a tablet, you glue the bottom shut. So for this one, which I kept longer, you would glue this shut. So if you're going to glue it shut, you'd want it shorter, obviously, to make a nicer pocket area. But so you would just cut this shorter and glue it shut. So it's up to you which one you want to make. We'll get started. Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way. Okay, I already prepped, but I'm going to give you all the measurements I used. Before I go on, I'm going to measure. I'm going to measure so you get the full measurements. Then you can decide if that's too large or too small. Okay, so it is 6.5 long, because it goes in that way, by 4. It should be by 4. Yep, by 4. So 6.5 long by 4. So my measurements that I'm going to give you with this one will make that finished project. Okay, and it's super easy. Here, right here it is, three parts. The first part is a long part. So I did use a 12 by 12, and I did have this extra, which I can now make a tag out of or something to keep in here if I wanted. Okay, so 12 by 12. This piece is 11.5. So if you don't want to cut that 1/2 inch off and you want to keep it on, that's fine, because that will make your end result a 1/2 inch larger. So that's up to you. But my measurement is 11.5 by 4. All of the pieces are 4 wide. So 11.5, and then you score at 5. So this is 11.5, and I scored it at 5 inches. So this part's 5 inches. Now, if you keep the whole 12, you may have a whole 1/2 inch longer up here, or you can split the difference, but we're just going to go with my measurements. 11.5 by 4. Scored at 5, and I inked the whole inside because I want mine to open, so you'll see the edges, and I scored this whole outside. I didn't ink the back because, again, it will get glued down. Well, mine will. Okay, so once you have your piece scored at 5, fold it up, ink if you're going to ink. Put that aside for now. Now we're going to go with the flap that covers it, and that is 4 by 4.5, and I wrote those over here. So it's 4.5 by 4. So I wanted mine to be like this. So your 4.5 has to be up and down, because the 1/2 is where you're going to score it. That goes in the back like that. So you will end up with a 4 by 4. So don't put it 4.5 this way, because you'll be too short and too long. So 4.5 long by 4 wide. Score at a 1/2 inch. And then ink all around, and because the flap will open, you will want to ink all around on the inside if you're inking. You may want to pick paper that doesn't go upside down when you're flipping. For this project, I'm really not concerned about that too much. Okay, so now we have our 2 pieces done once they're inked. I'm going to put that one aside, and we're going to have the final pocket, which will be 5 inches by 3 inches. So it's 5 this way by 3 this way. Then you score a 1/2 inch all the way around, not on the top, not on the opening part, but you want to score a 1/2 inch on the other 3 sides, and because they're going to get folded in, and we are going to glue this on the very top. So now's the time to ink all the way around. I did bevel the edges, and I really beveled them hard, because when you turn it backwards, you really want to keep them, you don't want them overlapping. You want it to be flat. so you can bevel them very hard. I'm going to also do here. You know, I guess you don't have to. I'm going to though. So I'm just going to dig out my scissors. Sorry for the noise. And I'm just going to bevel them. You don't have to do those too hard. And again, no measurement, just no worries. The only other thing I cut off my 12 by 12 was a piece that was about a 1/2 inch by 4, and then I went a hair under 4 because this is going to be for the tablet underneath. If you do yours, like I said, I did mine like a hair more than a 1/2 inch. Do it, make it a little wider so it's easier to work with. This was pretty hard. So go about 1 inch, and then you can fold it in half. And only put your holes in on the top half, because the bottom half will get glued in here, and you don't want the holes in that. You're just going to glue this down like this. If you want your tablet paper to be removable, but this piece will stay glued in, which is how I wanted mine. So this, I would make 1 inch. If you're doing yours at home, try doing it 1 inch. And then you just fold it in the middle, or score it and fold it in the middle. Ink that as well. And we can put that aside because that is for our little tablet. Okay. When I picked this paper, I actually wanted this part to be the 5-inch score, and I scored the wrong end, which ended up probably working out better for me anyway. So, okay, so here's our big piece. This is where we want to put the glue on this, on the inside, because we're going to glue it to the outside like that. So it will look like that. So glue in here. Of course, I'm using my Fabri-Tac because I get a little bit of wiggle room, and I always need wiggle room. Of course, I guess I'm only going to use it if it comes out. It's not coming out. That's okay. No idea why he did not want to cooperate. Let's see if we can get him to work now. Okay. And it's probably best if he comes out slow. And otherwise I'll have glue all over the place. You would think with the way I use glue that I'm invested in it, but I'm not. Okay, so you want to put that on there, and as you see, I need a little bit of wiggle room. Make sure it lines up. Good enough. Rub away any excess if you're using this type of glue. Okay. Look like that. Flip that up. Now we do these. Now, if you watch some of my other videos, whenever I have a pocket with 3, well, especially with a bottom part, I usually try to make them only a 1/4 inch instead of a 1/2 inch. I find that then when I'm trying to slide the tag in and out, it's not hitting up high and then not being able to get in. But when I make it a 1/2 inch, what I do is I glue that in, the bottom in first. And then I put a piece of Scotch tape, some shiny and slippery, over. So leave these ends out. I will glue them. Try to get it lined up with the very bottom if you can. Whoop. So I'm just gonna use my, just want it as close to the bottom. Now just fold the sides in just to make sure that you're where you need to be here, and I am. So now I want to open this. This is where I put a piece of tape. I use just dollar outlet regular tape, and you want it in the center, but you don't need it to go on the sides, because if you get it on the sides, it does make it hard to glue these down. We don't want that. So just put it in the center. That really is good enough. Make sure you really make sure it's down, because you don't want that catching on your tag or your tag catching that. Okay, now you're ready to put glue on the sides, which I will pick up to see better. So really this only takes 3 pieces, and you can either then put in a small tablet. You don't, I mean, you won't even have to make one that stays in. You could just make one that sits in there. I just like to make it look official. Okay, now I like to take my ruler and make sure I can pat all that glue down like that. Okay, so that's what we have. Now, let me get my tag. So that's how it will be. If you don't want your top that long, you don't have to make it that long, but the shorter you make the top, the longer you have to make your tag to hold it in. I want mine to flip out, so basically it's done. But we're doing the little tablet or writing area, paper to rip off and use in a journal. And I did staple it very high, just to kind of hold them together till I can get the brads in, like that. I already just used my little pokey tool and poked 2 holes. And to reinforce it, I have my little reinforcing holes from Vibe Vintage. She has Crafty Cuts. It's a digital kit for your Cricut, and so there's so many cute little nifty little things, and this is one of them, and I love these. I just broke my Cricut, and until I get it fixed, my daughter offered to make me some of these, and because I really love these reinforcers, use them everywhere all the time. All right, let me just get this glue closed rather. And wipe off the excess glue. I ended up really getting glued and inked from making my ones to show you. Okay, now for me, I found this little piece and I really wanted to use it because I really think it's pretty. I had stamped on it with, I think it was the Tim Holtz stamp, and then I put some embossing powder on it, and I did that quite a while ago, and I found this little piece, so I really wanted to use it, so I'm gonna just glue this to here so it always will stay on here. The tablet will be separate, so that's how I wanted it. That's how I'm doing it, but I really just want to use the tiniest amount of glue. Because I really don't want to lose too much of the writing. Whoop, tiny, okay, that was not. I'm going to glue it in. Like this, close to the holes, but not move the holes like that. Then I'll just give that a second to dry while I'm getting some breads. I think I'll use some of those. And still, while that's drying, I did mark the holes, so I'm going to just take my little, and this has a really small hole, so I'm just going to use that to poke through. Okay. I'm going to put that in. Like that. Put it through. Whoop, I got that stuff glued to my own finger now. All right. Put this one in. Turn those little legs or whatever sideways, so that they're not set they're sideways. I just put them down, give them a little push. Okay. Then this is the part that will get glued in here. But I'm not going to use this because, again, I need the wiggle time. Oh. Gee whiz. All right, back to this glue. Let me just get that close to the ends, because this is the piece that will always stay glued down. So we want it to be glued right to the ends for sure. Okay, open it, and we're going to glue it right along the top, but not interfering with the hinge. Don't want to do that. So, excuse me if I get my head in the way. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's not going to stick out on the side. Open it just to make sure it didn't squish out the bottom. Okay, and there it is. Then just pulled that stamp out. Now you are ready to either glue this whole thing into your project, or you can leave it freestanding. If you don't mind seeing that, that's fine. Otherwise, just put some nice paper over it, or decorate it. Just put a banner thing over the top. The other thing is, when you glue it down, you can also glue it to have it as a pocket. So if you glue it into a journal this way, and you glue back here, and here, it will be a pocket underneath this way. Or put it on this side, glue here, here, and here. Now you have a pocket this way. Glue it all down, glue down here and here in the back, and you could have a pocket this way. But that's my cute little project. I guess if you wanted to get real fancy, you could put another pocket in here somewhere. But I felt that that was a cute little project. Now, I'm going to, as I said, make the next couple videos with small projects. At the end, I'm going to save all mine and gather them together, because at the end, I was going to take all the ones I made and put them into one item. But you don't have to wait. You can make it and use it. You don't have to collect yours. I just wanted to show you that you can make these small projects, and as you collect them, which we all have a million, probably we all have a million small projects, you can put together a journal or a folio and pull out some of those finished projects that are close to the same theme and color and use them. Don't just keep making them and then wonder what to do with them. This, in a way, I mean, I'm going to say series here, but it's really not a series. We're just going to make these projects, and then at the end I will show you how to simply just keep them all together, put them in one bigger project, and have one slightly bigger project, or use them as you make them. Don't hoard them. We can't keep everything we make, right? Or can we? Okay, well, if you hung in this long, thank you so very much, and stay creative, and I'll see you tomorrow.